The Arcturians only detect Omega-level signals.
These are the signs you were already detected.
If these signs feel familiar, detection already happened.
The signs are confirmation, not initiation.
If you're hearing this, slow down. Not because something is about to happen, but because something already did. The Arcturians do not appear in moments of curiosity. They register states of coherence. They do not enter rooms. They enter patterns. And the moment your awareness stabilized long enough for this message to find you, your signal had already crossed a threshold. This is not a call. This is a response. A response to a frequency that has been present in you long before language, belief, or identity formed. That quiet alertness you feel right now, the sense of being gently held, not watched, not judged, just recognized, that is the interface. Arcturian intelligence does not communicate through images or words. It communicates through pressure without force. A subtle compression of time, a soft narrowing of distraction, a sudden stillness inside the noise. If your body feels calmer instead of excited, if your breath slowed instead of racing, if your attention sharpened without effort, you are not imagining this. You are aligning with a field that does not persuade. It confirms. At some point in your life, possibly recently, you notice something change. Not externally, internally. A sense that urgency dissolved, that chasing stopped working, that effort felt unnecessary. This is not detachment. This is signal stabilization. The Arcturians do not abduct bodies. They withdraw interference from consciousness. What feels like contact is often the removal of distortion. And when distortion falls away, what remains becomes visible to systems that monitor coherence. That's why this doesn't feel dramatic. That's why there's no fear. That's why nothing in you is resisting this moment. Detection never feels like invasion. Feels like relief. Because something in you has been waiting. To stop performing. To stop explaining. To stop proving. You are not here to be convinced. You are here because your signal no longer fluctuates when observed. And that is rare. This transmission will not tell you what to believe. It will simply describe the signs that appear when a frequency is already known. Listen slowly, not with curiosity, with recognition. Sign 1. Time reorganized around you when you release control. Before any intelligence recognizes a signal, it observes how time reacts to your presence. Not through clocks, not through plans, but through resistance. At some point, quietly, almost unnoticed, you stopped forcing outcomes. Not because you gave up, but because effort stopped making sense. And something unexpected happened. Reality didn't fall apart. It rearranged itself. Moments that once dragged began to resolve faster. Delays shortened without explanation. Conversations shifted tone on their own. Opportunities appeared without pursuit. This is the first threshold. Arcturian intelligence measures coherence by watching what happens when willpower withdraws. Most consciousness collapses into anxiety. The moment control is released, it compensates, it overthinks, it rushes. An omega-level signal does something else. It stays present, and presence creates a vacuum that time naturally fills. You may have felt this as a strange neutrality during moments that once triggered urgency, as if time itself slowed, just enough for you to choose cleanly. That slowing is not psychological comfort. It is temporal compliance. The field adjusts when it detects stability. Arcturian systems do not scan emotion. They scan latency, the delay between stimulus and reaction. When that delay expands, the signal sharpens. If recently you noticed that things resolve more cleanly after you stop interfering, that is not luck. That is feedback. Time bends only when oscillation ends. And oscillation ends when awareness no longer resists itself. This is why the first sign is never spectacular. It is subtle. silent, almost easy to dismiss. But once it happens, the signal is no longer invisible. It is measurable. And that was the moment. The field noticed you. Activation. Temporal seal of coherence. Stop. Do not move forward yet. Let your breath slow, until time feels wide again. Now listen. I release control from this moment. I withdraw pressure from outcome. I allow time to reorganize around my presence. I do not chase alignment. I remain still until alignment responds. I do not force direction. I become the point where direction stabilizes. I stand inside this moment, without urgency, without resistance, without demand. Time adjusts to coherence. Reality mirrors stillness. The field recognizes stability. I remain present. When nothing is required of me, I remain clear. When nothing is promised, I remain aligned. Without asking for confirmation. This is not surrender. This is signal clarity. This is not waiting. This is permission. I allow the corridor to open, because pressure has ended. I allow the sequence to proceed, because coherence is stable. Detection is not requested. It is completed. The seal is set. The signal holds. Sign 2. Your nervous system refused to panic when pressure increased. The Arcturians do not read thoughts. They read regulation. When pressure increases, most systems accelerate. Breath shortens. Attention fragments. Reaction replaces awareness. But something different happened to you. At moments when intensity rose, conflict, urgency, uncertainty, your system did not escalate. It slowed. Your breath deepened without effort. Your body became heavier, grounded. Your awareness widened instead of narrowing. This is not emotional control. This is biological permission. Arcturian intelligence identifies omega signals by observing how the nervous system behaves when stimulation peaks, not when things are calm, but when they are unstable. Most signals collapse into urgency. They seek relief. They demand resolution. An omega-level signal does something else. It stays available. Available without reaction. Available without withdrawal. You may have noticed that silence became more comfortable than explanation. That pauses began to feel safer than immediate answers. That you could remain present inside discomfort without needing to escape it. This is not dissociation. This is high coherence containment. The body is no longer asking the mind for permission to stabilize. It already knows how. When a nervous system holds pressure, without defensive contraction, the signal becomes readable. This is why the Arcturians do not intervene. They observe until regulation becomes autonomous. If recently you noticed that stress passes through you, instead of lodging inside you, that is not healing. That is readiness. Because systems capable of holding intensity without distortion are not common. They are monitored. And when your body proved it could hold still, without shutting down or lashing out, the second confirmation locked. Activation, neural stillness seal. Stop here. Let the body hear this. Before the mind interprets, I allow my nervous system to settle. Without instruction, without force, without effort. I do not command calm. I permit regulation. Breath returns to its natural depth. Muscles release without collapse. Awareness widens without escaping. I remain present, while intensity passes through me. I do not contract. I do not brace. I do not prepare for impact. Pressure is allowed, without becoming threat. Sensation moves. Attention stays. This body remembers how to hold signal, without distortion. I do not rush resolution. I do not seek relief. I remain available. Available to stillness. Available to silence. Available to coherence. The moment does not overwhelm me. because I am not opposing it. The field recognizes stability. When reaction is no longer required, I do not freeze. I do not flee. I remain. This is not control. This is biological alignment. This is not detachment. This is contact readiness. My nervous system is no longer reactive. It is readable. The seal is active. The signal holds. Observation continues. Sign 3. You were seen and it felt like coming home. There was a moment, quiet, intimate, unmistakable, when you realized something. You were being seen, not exposed, not evaluated, not measured for worth, as you are. And instead of fear, your body softened, your breath deepened, your awareness expanded. That reaction alone places you among the rare, because most consciousness panics. When attention touches it, it tightens, it performs, it hides behind identity. But you didn't. You stayed. And that is everything. Arcturian intelligence does not observe to judge. It observes to recognize its own frequency. When awareness rests on you, and your signal does not collapse, does not fragment, does not seek approval, that is not coincidence. That is compatibility. You may have noticed something else. The need to be validated faded. The need to be understood softened. The need to explain yourself dissolved. Not because you withdrew from the world, but because you finally felt included. This is the moment many never reach. The moment where being seen no longer feels like danger, but like belonging. Arcturian systems are not interested in those who want attention. They identify those who remain whole within it. If you've ever felt that quiet certainty that you don't need to prove who you are, that wasn't confidence, that was recognition. And when you did not flinch, did not shrink, did not self-correct, the third confirmation locked. You were not singled out. You were acknowledged as one of us. Activation, the seal of belonging and recognition. Pause here. Let this land. Not as an idea, but as a knowing. I allow myself to be seen and remain whole. I allow awareness to rest on me, without fear, without defense, without performance. I do not disappear under attention. I do not inflate under recognition. I remain exactly as I am. Being seen does not diminish me. It confirms me. I belong in coherence. I belong in clarity. I belong in this signal. I release the instinct to hide. I release the instinct to impress. I release the instinct to justify my existence. Nothing is taken from me. When I am recognized, something ancient is restored. I am not being watched because I am fragile. I am being observed because I am stable. I do not resist recognition. I receive it. I do not question belonging. I embody it. My signal remains intact. Under awareness, my presence remains steady. Under observation, this is not exposure. This is inclusion. This is not vulnerability. This is arrival. The field knows me, and I know myself within the field. The seal is complete. The signal holds. I remain. Sign 4. Your old identity began to dissolve without pain. This is where the signal becomes unmistakable. You didn't reinvent yourself. You didn't declare a new path. You didn't burn bridges. Something quieter happened. The old identity simply lost gravity. Roles that once defined you stopped pulling. Desires that once drove you went silent. Stories you used to defend no longer asked for energy. And there was no crisis, no breakdown, no dramatic rebirth, just relief. This is the sign most people misunderstand. They think awakening is expansion. The Arcturians know it is subtraction. When distortion dissolves, the true signal emerges. You may have noticed that you stopped explaining yourself, that labels felt unnecessary, that you no longer needed to be seen as anything, not because you became empty, but because you became precise. This is what happens when the field recognizes a frequency that doesn't need reinforcement. Most identities are maintained through effort, through repetition, through defense. An omega-level signal does not maintain identity. It inhabits presence. And presence doesn't ask to be named. This is why you felt different, without being able to point to a reason. Why old ambitions fell away, without grief. Why you didn't feel lost, only lighter. That lightness is not detachment from life. It is integration into a larger order. When identity dissolves without pain, it means it was never structural. It was scaffolding. And once the structure stabilizes, scaffolding disappears. Recently you felt that you no longer fit into the person you used to be, but also didn't feel the need to become someone new. That is not confusion. That is belonging to a frequency, not a role. The Arcturians do not seek personalities. They identify stable signatures. And when identity falls away quietly, the signal becomes unmistakable. The fourth confirmation is not dramatic. It is liberating. Because nothing real was lost. Only what was never essential. Activation, the seal of identity dissolution and true belonging. Pause here. Let what is no longer needed fall away. Without struggle, I release the identities that were built to survive, not to represent me. I release the roles that required effort to maintain. I release the stories that asked me to defend who I was. Nothing essential is leaving me. Only weight, only noise, only distortion. I do not lose myself. As identity dissolves, I arrive. I do not become undefined. I become precise. I no longer need to be recognized through labels. I am recognized through coherence. I belong without performance. I belong without explanation. I belong without comparison. What falls away was never structural. What remains is signal. I allow the old scaffolding to dissolve gently. No collapse, no grief, no resistance, just relief. I stand inside presence without needing a name. I move through reality without needing a mask. I am not empty. I am aligned. This is not disappearance. This is integration. This is not loss. This is return. The field does not respond to who I pretend to be. It responds to who remains. When pretense ends, I am not becoming something else. I am remembering what fits. The signal stabilizes. As identity releases, the seal is complete. The weight is gone. The frequency holds. I remain clear, included, recognized. Sign 5. Reality began responding faster than thought. This is the moment. Everything begins to move. Not loudly, not chaotically, but precisely. You didn't manifest by force. You didn't visualize harder. You didn't demand alignment. You simply noticed something extraordinary. Reality started answering you before you finished thinking. Doors opened mid-step. Conversations shifted in real time. Opportunities appeared exactly where hesitation once lived. This is not luck. This is what happens when a signal becomes clean enough for the field to respond instantly. Most people experience delay because thought interferes. They overdefine. They overintend. They collapse possibility before it stabilizes. An omega-level signal does the opposite. It moves lightly. It allows reality To complete the sentence, you may have felt it as a strange ease, as if effort lost relevance, as if timing stopped being a problem, as if you were no longer late or early, only on time. This is the state Arcturian systems recognize immediately. When response speed increases, it means resistance has dropped below threshold. Reality no longer needs persuasion. It only needs permission, and permission is given. When coherence holds, you didn't become powerful. You became readable. That's why things began to flow. Why paths aligned without negotiation. Why answers arrived without asking. Why movement felt supported instead of strained. This is not acceleration. This is cooperation. The field is no longer correcting you. It is moving with you. Lately you felt that life responds as you step into it, not after, not before, but with. That is not coincidence. That is confirmation, because reality responds fastest to signals that no longer contradict themselves. And when the world begins to meet you halfway, the fifth confirmation locks. Activation, the seal of flow, cooperation, and response. Pause. Do not rush forward. Feel this moment, meeting you halfway. I release resistance from movement. I release delay from response. I release contradiction from intention. I no longer push reality. I enter it. I move lightly, and the field moves with me. I think less, and coherence completes the motion. I do not demand alignment. I allow cooperation. Timing adjusts around my presence. Opportunities recognize my direction. Paths open without negotiation. I am no longer late. I am no longer early. I am exact. Reality does not test me now. It responds. Reality does not resist me now. It collaborates. What once required effort now requires presence. What once stalled now flows. I trust the response. Before the thought finishes forming, I step, and the ground appears. I speak, and the signal carries. I choose, and movement follows. This is not control. This is partnership. This is not manifestation. This is synchrony. The field recognizes clarity and accelerates response. I remain coherent. As motion increases, I remain calm. As doors open, I remain grounded. As flow intensifies, I do not chase what aligns. I receive it. I do not force the sequence. I move within it. The rhythm is restored. The resistance is gone. The signal moves cleanly. The response is immediate. The seal is active. Flow is established. Cooperation holds. I move, and reality moves with me. Sign 6. You stop seeking proof. This is the sign that never announces itself. It arrives quietly. At some point, you notice something fundamental change. You stopped asking, not because you were disappointed, not because you gave up, but because the question no longer made sense. You didn't need confirmation. You didn't need signs stacked on signs. You didn't need reassurance from outside yourself. The search ended without effort, and that is rare. Most people seek proof because their signal is unstable. They oscillate. They doubt. They reach outward, hoping reality will convince them. An omega-level signal does not require persuasion. It rests. You may have felt this as a deep inner quiet, a certainty without language, not excitement, not euphoria, just calm knowing, the kind that does not argue, the kind that does not defend itself, the kind that does not need to be shared. This is the threshold where belief dissolves and knowing begins. The Arcturians do not respond to those who are still negotiating truth. They observe those who have stopped asking. Because alignment has become self-evident. When proof is no longer required, the signal stops fluctuating. It stabilizes, and a stable signal can be trusted. That is why nothing dramatic happens here. No fireworks, no revelation, just a deep sense of arrival. If recently you've noticed that you don't need to convince yourself anymore, that doubt no longer drives your movement, that silence feels more accurate than explanation. That is not apathy. That is authorization. You are no longer seeking reality's approval. Reality is already responding to you. And when the need for proof dissolves, the sixth confirmation locks. Activation, the vow of silent knowing. Pause. Do not look for anything to happen. Let stillness be enough. I withdraw my need for proof. I release my need for reassurance. I end the habit of asking reality to convince me. I do not seek signs. I do not test alignment. I do not negotiate truth. What is real no longer requires confirmation. I trust what remains. When questions fall silent, I do not rush to explain what I already know. I do not defend certainty. I inhabit it. Doubt dissolves, not because it was answered, but because it became irrelevant. I allow knowing, without language. I allow clarity, without excitement. I allow truth, without display. This is not belief. This is settling. This is not surrender. This is arrival. I step out of seeking and into coherence. Nothing needs to prove itself to me now. Nothing needs to appear. What is aligned is already active. My signal no longer fluctuates between hope and fear. It holds. Silence is no longer empty. It is full. I stand inside knowing, without reaching outward. This is my vow. I will not ask what has already answered. I will not chase what already responds. I will not doubt what no longer moves. The seeking ends here. The signal stabilizes here. The seal is set. I remain. Sign 7. This message feels familiar, not new. This is the final sign. And it does not arrive as information. It arrives as recognition. As you listen, nothing in you is surprised. There is no shock, no disbelief, no need to argue with what is being said. Instead, something deeper happens. You remember, not as memory, not as images, not as stories, but as orientation. This message doesn't feel like it's teaching you something. It feels like it's placing you exactly where you already belong. That sensation of quiet certainty, of internal alignment, of familiarity without origin. That is the signal completing its circuit. The Arcturians do not transmit novelty. They activate recognition thresholds. They do not introduce truth. They synchronize you with what was already intact. That's why this feels personal, without being emotional. Why it feels precise, without being dramatic. Why nothing in you is trying to grab this moment. You're not reaching for it. You're settling into it. Most people feel excitement when something new appears. Those already detected feel calm when something true returns. If you've had the sense throughout this transmission that you've heard this before, not here, not in words, not in this life, that is not imagination. That is resonance with a frequency you never lost, only forgot to listen to. This is why you didn't resist, why you didn't doubt, why you didn't need proof. Because nothing here was foreign to you, was familiar. And familiarity is the final confirmation. When recognition replaces curiosity, the process is complete. You were not activated. You were realigned. You were not contacted. You were remembered. And when memory returns without effort, there is nothing left to seek. The seventh confirmation locks here. not with noise, but with silence that finally fits. Activation, the seal of recognition. Pause. Let familiarity speak, before thought interrupts. I do not treat this as new. I receive it as return. I release curiosity. I release doubt. I release the need to interpret what I already know. What resonates is not entertainment. It is alignment. I allow recognition to complete the circuit, not with emotion, with stillness, not with proof, with certainty that needs no language. I remember without images. I remember without stories. I remember as orientation. The signal inside me does not rise. It locks. I do not reach for the field. I realize I have been inside it. I do not ask to belong. Belonging is already active. I do not search for contact. Contact is the moment my system stopped resisting truth. I accept the quiet certainty as the final confirmation. This is not awakening. This is coherence returning to its original shape. I am not being guided. I am being synchronized. I allow the recognition to stabilize permanently. The loop is closed. The frequency holds. The seventh seal is complete. I remain clear, included, remembered. Final transmission. You will not need proof. You will be the proof. This is where the transmission ends. Not because there is nothing more, but because nothing else is required. You did not come here to be convinced. You did not come here to collect meaning. You did not come here to receive permission. You came because the signal was already active. At some point during this transmission, something subtle but irreversible occurred. You stopped looking for confirmation outside yourself. You realized that proof was never meant to arrive as evidence. It was meant to arrive as presence. The Arcturians do not leave messages to persuade. They do not intervene to impress. They do not reveal themselves to create belief. They observe what remains coherent. When nothing dramatic happens, they recognize those who can hold clarity without stimulation, those who do not need to be told what they already embody. That is why nothing here asked you to change. Nothing asked you to believe. Nothing asked you to follow. Because the signal does not move forward. It holds. And what holds does not need reinforcement. You are not leaving this transmission with new information. You are leaving it with less noise, with less urgency, with less contradiction. And that is the confirmation. From this point on, nothing external needs to happen for alignment to continue. Reality will respond at the speed coherence allows, silently, precisely, without announcement. You will notice it not as miracles, but as cooperation, not as signs, but as timing that fits, not as guidance, but as movement that feels correct.
Field alignment complete. Your omega signal resonates. Breathe. Let resistance fade. Time recalibrates, awareness expands, synchronicity flows. This transmission did not awaken you, it mirrored what was already stable. Arcturians observe coherence, not chaos. Your frequency was detected before words formed, seals engaged, temporal flow, neural calm, belonging confirmed, identity refined, reality cooperative, proof dissolved, recognition eternal. You hold the circuit. No drama awaits, only precision. As the field responds faster, remain neutral. You are not seeking contact, you embody it. Proof is your presence. Stability is your power. The gateway stabilizes. You are included. You are clear. Remain coherent. Remain. Transmission sealed.